Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Laughing Stock. Just going through some different tickers. I was looking at this one today, and it's crazy because this is something I would normally never look at because it's really just a momentum stock. But I was curious because when I saw it up this crazy percent from the daytime, it's not really what I was concerned with. But what I was interested in is it told me, based on some of the technicals and stuff that I've been looking at, that you should buy this essentially, even at this high price, even up 68%. It's actually like triggered a buy for me. And now I'm looking in the after, and it's up 52% more. Now, granted, I know it's after hours, and who knows what's going to happen in this time frame. But just kind of like, in my head, just being like, all right, well, this, even the technicals work for some of the ones that are a little more risky. And yeah, granted, I probably wouldn't put as much into a position like this, just because who knows. And like I said, I'll keep getting more confident in going into some stuff where it's really more of a story than anything. Or some kind of narrative change in terms of like maybe it has to do with fundamentals. This had to do with ADS and all kinds of stuff. But either way, I just thought it was interesting because this is normally something I would see that and I wouldn't even know how to like play it. And now after watching it, I was like, that told me that was a buy. And now in hindsight, looking like looks good. So interesting, just something to look at. Got everything kind of updated. Didn't really look at what happened today. Looks like Coco's back going up. If you want to be a futures person, there's your stock. What's the 1 year daily looking like here? Well, I gotta pull this over here because I was gonna say it's probably on. Still dealing with multiple screens here. Jeez, if I can ever get this to work. Okay. Wow, it's like kind of hard to see. Either way. Looks like it maybe found support down there around 7,000, which I don't know if that has anything. Like, I don't know how much commodities would trade straight up on technicals, or if it's more just like the fact that it's kind of like you can't really get things that you need. More the supply and demand is what I'm saying. Let's see. Anything else? My portfolio is actually down today. Made some stupid mistakes. Still kind of testing some things, and I've learned that what I really need to focus on going forward too, especially with doing this style, is that if we're going to be taking essentially base hits on a lot of these type of plays, it's really important that like each morning when you get up, you kind of assess where each one of those is at, and if anything has changed, and in terms of has it changed. If nothing's changed and it's it's basically going to tell me that you should exit at a certain point, making sure I set that that price. And if it's not going to, or there's a chance it could continue up, maybe consider how much I want to sell the position, how far I want to ride it, that kind of thing. So there's a few of my stocks that I should have gotten out of that I did not, and now I'm kind of kicking myself for doing that. But I'm also seeing how much I can, because I didn't fully go into a full position, if I can build it up to a position and kind of work out a gain in a longer period of time. I think that's probably not going to work out more often than not. So I'm kind of testing it with 2 stocks now. But we'll see, because if I had just have gotten out like my strategy would have told me to, and it was more just because I wasn't prepared. From now on going forward, I will be setting prices to get in and out of, every day, just in case something happens, whether it goes down, whether it goes up, and then that way I don't have to focus on it, because that's kind of the thing I like about swing trading, is that like it's not like day trading where you have to like really focus. It's just like you kind of have an idea of why you like the stock and what you're going in for, what the overall narrative is at that point. Hey NASCAR, what's up, man? Week's been okay. I've actually, in another one of my portfolios, been doing really well. That portfolio is killing it right now. Of course, the one on the stupid stream it's not terrible. I've had actually some big wins this week, but let me just go to the portfolio itself. I took a position in Farmer today, which kudos to Johnny. Johnny was the one who pointed me in that direction, and I kind of like it where it's at now. ALTO's been kind of bouncing around, so it's more of a hold for me. DK, this is the one I was just talking about that I've been kind of like scaling down essentially as it keeps dropping, which, like I said, not really my long-term plan to do that kind of thing. And I might in hindsight look at this and be like, that was stupid. You should have just number one, this was one of the ones that if it told me to sell and I just missed it, because I didn't set the stop loss or I don't have a stop loss, but to set a stop. But anyways, so that one would have been a gain. Now it's a loss right now. Array's another one. In hindsight, the more I've been looking at the chart and stuff like that, it would have made more sense for me to not go in when I did, which is whatever. I mean, that's how you're gonna learn. I look back at it and I'm like, there's a lot of things actually saying that you probably shouldn't enter right there. But that's part of learning it. And ISDR is doing okay. That's kind of been bouncing slowly upwards, so I've been kind of building a position there. I don't know. That's another one. It's kind of tough because of the way it's structured. I'm hoping that one can pull out something. NASCAR said he got into SNGX. Yeah, I saw that was one of the ones that were running today. Ran to 1483. Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, I saw that was running. And actually, I was just talking NASCAR. I don't know if you saw when you got on, but I was looking at NAAS was going up, and I was just saying it's funny that normally I wouldn't touch a stock like that because to me in my mind it's just momentum. But when I actually looked at some of the charts and the technicals, it actually was saying to definitely buy. So in hindsight, like I said, maybe I will take a position, and then after hours, it's up like another 50%. So, I mean, I'm not looking for huge returns in one day, not like that. But if I get that every once in a while, man, does that really hedge a lot of any misses? I mean, there's a lot of misses I can do if you're getting one of those every once in a while. Which is why I said my strategy probably going forward was like when DK started to pull back here, if I had missed it, just to exit the position. I can scale down a little bit, but to be honest, if it's going to go down and you're waiting for a price for it to get back up to, like, I don't know if that's a great way of doing it. You might be better off to, I guess if you want to take a small position again to lower your cost basis and then get out at whatever your average in was, so it's not really a loss, kind of a wash. Which whatever you like, I pay a small fee. I use Fidelity, and the fees are like non-existent, so it doesn't even matter to me. But either way, Mastercraft is another one that's just been kind of trickling down, and I've kind of been holding it. That one though has always been a smaller position. It is getting bumped up now; it's almost at 9% position, so it's not like it's a small position. But I've been slowly adding to it and hoping that one will have a pullback. I think. When I looked at the chart, I thought it looked okay, but we'll see. I thought it looked like some of these have been reaching bottoms, which is part of the thing too. Is like if it's able to reach like a quicker bottom and come back up, then we'll be fine. But some of the longer term charts, that's another thing I've been focusing on, is after I look at, like a daily chart, making sure I'm checking weekly charts, checking monthly charts, just kind of see how everything lands. But it's been going decent. Still down 3% since I started this, but like I said, a lot of this has been trial and error. And this is all updated, so this is exactly where I'm at. So I mean, you asking how the week's going? I'm down about just under 0.5%. So nothing. I mean, nothing really. It's just kind of noise. But I'm just looking for a few more to add. I figure I probably can keep the portfolio around like 8 to 10 stocks, somewhere in there. I feel like it's a good amount. It's something I can kind of keep track of, but also we'll have enough turnover and just kind of keep it interesting. Ion M, it's a crap company that just constantly dilutes. Just had a 1-to-18 split. I think it's a setup to run again now. Yeah, I could definitely do them. I still have to. I did go through and find some stuff that looked interesting on charts. I'll just go through real quick and look at some of the fundamentals and try and pull some of those ones in too. I can go through any tickers that you want me to too as well. I looked at Insider. There wasn't much in Insider. There's a few plays actually that have worked out super well for me though on Insider. Let's see. Atlas, I thought there was another one that was on here though. Atlas worked out great. But maybe that wasn't an Insider one. But there has been a few that within just a few days I'm taking 5 to 10% gains, which is the goal. I mean the goal is 5% a week, which I know is crazy, but it's not. I mean it can be done. It just it's not, and number one, it's not going to be done every week. It's just that's the goal. So you shoot for that. It's stupid returns, And it allows me to kind of like, I don't know, keep my head on entrances and exits without getting too crazy into anything. Some of these banks, though, that's another thing. I feel like some of these financials are still recovering, and they actually look like they have some interesting setups. Who bought GameStop? Sorry, I'm just curious. Cheng Lawrence is a director. What's GameStop at? Actually, it's kind of interesting. Kind of looks like it's consolidating right here. Oh, I just want to zoom in a little bit for you guys because I zoomed out on, because one of my screens here is Hey, I can zoom in a little bit more than that. There we go. That's got to be a little better. This is interesting. I feel like after all this nonsense, like to watch it kind of really hone in on this section here and kind of hold up. I would think that looks bullish. But we'll see. I mean, it looks like definitely support is around like 23-ish. I mean, it wasn't a huge buy. I'm more, like I said, I'm more just curious to see what it was. Tilly's, they're still buying. It's a lot in Tilly's. Pine had some buys. Allied Gaming, man, this one killed it. This is another one I got. I think I looked at somewhere down there. What was that one? Around like 80 cents in there, and I in hindsight now that would be like a definite buy. So I will say what I've been screening, I've been sometimes just throwing the insider buys into my charts and just watching those, and those are usually pretty solid picks. Like if you see something that looks decent and you got the insider buy there, I'm not gonna lie, it becomes pretty interesting pretty quick. So I definitely am now screening by insiders. I mean, I've always screened by insiders, but more for the fundamental side of things. But also now doing the charts as well to try and get a better idea of how it's trading, essentially, I guess. That's what you would say. NASCAR said, you try and increase your portfolio by 5% every week. Yes. Yeah, I mean, going forward, that is the strategy, is to shoot for 5% a week. Which, like I said, I know that's aggressive, and I know that it's not going to be done every week. It's a goal that I set, and it kind of like gives you like I said, it allows me to set exits and entrances and that kind of thing, and what I'm looking for in price action and where I think a stock can get to, which ones I'm interested in. You know, if I only think it can get a few percent, or if it can get 5%, but I'm thinking it's going to take a few weeks to do, like that's not going to interest me, because the goal is to have this quicker turnover with some of these stocks. Now, don't get me wrong, there is occasionally there will be a setup like ALTO or something like that where it can be a much longer hold, and you know, that's because the other thing too is I'm looking at, like, you know, some of these could be huge gains, like multi-baggers in, you know, in a few months time. But like, you know, this is the way I think about it. When I'm looking at a longer hold, if I'm still shooting for 5%, you know, if I'm looking 5 weeks out and I think it could be 100% return, well, that's obviously more than 5% per week. So that works just as well. It doesn't matter. I don't see, like, in my mind, I'm thinking of those two things as the same. But some of these ones that I'm getting interested in more just because of the chart side of things, those ones will be a lot faster. Those will truly be more like swing trades. But the goal, though, is to always, like I said, always to use fundamentals in the background. You know, I'm still gonna kind of avoid biotechs unless there's something that really stands out to me, or I read something from someone that I trust what they say. And still, that would also be a smaller position. Which, you know, I don't mind having like a couple small positions, but I don't want to clutter up the portfolio and get like start putting too much focus on one of these ones that, like, it doesn't matter so much. And then also too, you know, making sure that, like, bankruptcy, like, you know, if it turns into a BNet situation again where it's a 50-50 shot on bankruptcy, like that's going to be a no for me. You know, we'll let the dust settle and see what happens there at the end, or like let it all, you know, collapse, and at the bottom, you never know, because people short, and you know, to push that stuff down because they already know that it's going down, and you know, you get enough people and, you know, momentum swings the other way, it can become pretty interesting. And then also just looking at daily movers, I have noticed, though, the problem with some of the daily movers lately is that the buy signal that I get is the day before or 2 days before, but I don't see the stock on the daily mover until it has this big pop. So I'm trying to think of ways. I might have to, maybe I can curtail some of the returns. So, like, normally my daily movers are 10%, but I'm thinking maybe I could bump that down a little bit. But then it's a lot more charts to look at, because, you know, for something to have like a 5% day, that's not that crazy. To have a 10% day is rarer. You know, that's going to lead to, you know, just under 100 stocks or around 100 stocks to look at. Sometimes more, but not usually. Not unless, like, there's something in the market that's happening, like interest rates were coming down or something. But what do you call it? So I don't know. I'll have to play around with it. But there was a ton of charts where I'm like, oh, you missed that one. You missed that one. You know, and if I had just noticed it the day before, it would have become interesting, and I probably could have bought, and I could have got my 5% return in a day. Which, you know, every time I can pull that off, that's huge. So definitely interested in trying to adjust that, I guess I would say. Then you're saying you go after very volatile stocks, but each play is a small percentage of my total portfolio, so I'm kind of a conservative trader that trades the most volatile stocks. Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, NASCAR, you know, we're kind of doing opposite sides of the spectrum. You know, you're taking on high risk. You're taking on where you got to get in and out of position, you know, possibly in seconds. So for you to take smaller positions with this massive possible upside, that makes sense to me. I think if I was in your shoes and I was going to day trade, I would probably do something similar. I'd put like maybe 1 or 2% into something, and if that goes up 100% a day, excellent. You know, I mean, that's a stupidly high return on even on a 2% part of your portfolio. But if it's you know, my style is I'm basically going to take a couple days or a couple weeks, essentially, is my time frame that I'm looking at stuff, and maybe monthly. It could be months. You know, I don't want to rule it out. I mean, hell, as long as you know, there's a chance too you get in like an Nvidia or something like that. I'm not ruling out some of those kind of stocks. You know, like when there's like kind of like a sector that's super hot, and there might be that one that everyone's just in and everyone just keeps funneling money into. You know, those ones just for no reason continue to grow. So I will also I want to throw those into the mix, but those will also be longer holds. But like I said, always in the context that like you know, even if I held something for a year, it should have gone up by 5% each week for that entire year. That would be the goal in my head. If it's not doing that, then it's not worth it, because I can do those trades quicker on some of these other plays. So the goal will be to shoot for that 5%. And now I know it's gonna be choppy. It's not like it's not like every week you're gonna get 5%. You're gonna be up 20% and then down 5 and then up 13% and then down 20, and it's just gonna bounce around until you get up to where you want. But that's the goal. But I feel like you do have to have a decent amount of conviction to really stay in some of those plays. So we'll see. Like I said, it's gonna take a lot of practice, because this is definitely a different style than what I do historically, and in some of my other portfolios. But I did set up some money aside in another portfolio because this has been working decently, and I use a very specific screening process for that portfolio, and it's actually done really well. So I don't want to add the exact same stocks into this portfolio, so I feel like what's the point of having multiple portfolios if I'm going to buy the same stock in multiple portfolios? Like, I get it in the context of a portfolio that can make sense, but since it's my funds, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I might as well just, if you're going to go in one on one and just stick to those stocks on one, then you do that. What else here? So what did you say? INMO? That was the, or IONM? Assure Holding. So, and you said, NASCAR, I think high short interest is honestly a really good kind of like group of stocks to look at. I mean, when those do turn around, it can be violent. It obviously depends on the flow, depends on the interest. But any of those meme type stocks that have short interest involved, they can change and they can be brutal to the shorts. So I guess every once in a while I do screen by high short interest essentially. But yeah, I see Zap. Zap has been going nuts. I mean, what is this chart? This chart is insane. That's been like the mover for the past few days, So, I mean, but this is the thing, if you got to think these guys are probably shorting this whole way down here. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So, you get a bunch of shorts caught in here, and probably some of the shorts, piled back in this area, and then, there's still just too momentum in terms of positive, and as it starts to break through these levels, the shorts know they have to close the position, so they have to buy shares, and you end up getting this return. So, but like this is an interesting one here too, because so it's super tough in my mind to predict this initial giant pop here. One day you're just gonna have enough traders pile on that the price starts to move just enough that it catches people's attention, and then you get all the traders to pour in, and before you know it, you got this ridiculous play in a day. My goal is probably the one I'll be able to catch is more in here. This breakout here to me is pretty obvious. So my goal in the future will be to this is more what I would recognize on the swing here. And then where I get out, I don't know. It'd be tough for me to play this one because, like I said, I'm looking for 5% returns. So if this returns, 200% in 2 days, like that's super hard for me to keep conviction in here to ride this up to 17.95. And you'd probably be like, well, that's stupid because you should be able to hold it and try and hit the top. Yes, I get it that's the goal, but if it's rare you're going to get these kind of returns on any kind of stock. And if you get lucky and you do hit one of these, like I said, can massively make your whole year on one or two of these plays. Could change your path, at least for the past month or whatever it is. Possibly even longer, depending on how well you play this. Obviously there's the chance too that we start to look out like you look on like a 3-year chart too, and you know, on the 3-year chart, it's telling you that it's going to keep breaking out. So, you know, maybe you zoom out, and then on this one, I start to see, okay, it's now breaking, even on a weekly chart. And you know, I don't know if it's doing anything on a monthly. Yeah, you really can't say much on a monthly because there's just not much here. But my point being is, you know, maybe I flip over to like a weekly chart like this, and I see that it's, you know, it's breaking out, and it interests me here because basically in my mind that should tell you, hey, there's a chance you should hold this one. So if you are holding it, you know, I'll probably trim as I go up. But like I said, you know, if I'm trimming, let's say 50% after the initial daily breakout, and then I start holding the other 50% on weeklies, and each day it's going up like, you know, exponentially, I'll probably keep taking, you know, 20%, 30% off the table. And yeah, you know, you don't get the full return, but if, you know, even 20% of that position gets a 2, or gets, what was that, a 10, almost a 10 bagger return, I mean, that's insane, you know. So but that's the kind of way I would think of playing something like this. And you know, and it's always hard to say. I mean, this chart in hindsight, yeah, it looked obvious, but would it have looked obvious when you were doing it and it was live? Because that's the big trick here, is you can always look back, and it always looks good when you look back. Like, you can see it because you can be like, oh, right there was a signal, but you also fail to notice all the times that signal didn't work in your favor. And that's really what I'm focusing on, is where are the times that it failed to work, and how can I avoid those situations? What signals did it give that it wasn't going to work out? And it's not perfect. You know, it's no different than actual value investing, in the fact that like you're putting this prediction on how a company and its fundamentals are performing and where it's at in its business cycle, and you can still be wrong on that. You know, it doesn't matter. You just put a narrative to it, and it's what you believe. You know. Which is, I guess that's kind of the thing that's like interested me, you know, with swing trading here, is that, you know, sometimes I'm looking at this stuff and it doesn't look like it's going to turn into much, but then you start to notice little signals, and you know, like I said, I don't know how you would catch this one. I mean, you know, even on moving averages, and you could do all kinds of things with technicals, but the problem is it's not reliable in the long run. So, you know, I could find a million ways I could find technicals that show me this breakout down here, but it's not going to be replicable. So up here, though, I can think of a bunch of ways this one would pop up on my radar and make me notice this. And another thing too is, you know, NASCAR, in just terms of like keeping track of these kind of stocks, you know, you see this, or costs, or MAXN, and when you get one of these pops, it's probably something to pay attention to at that point. Yeah, NASCAR, and that's probably not a bad strategy, because now I remember initially when GameStop, you can literally go back to Roaring Kitty's videos. In one of his first videos, when GameStop was really starting to pop off, I was on that video, and us and a bunch of people were asking, hey, what about AMC? Because AMC had really high short interest, and it was trading in the dumps. It was, I can't even remember, I think it was down to like $3 or I don't remember where it was, but this was right when GameStop was starting to take off in December there. And I bought a bunch of option contracts on AMC, having no clue what I was doing. And those option contracts killed it. So you never know. You know, when one thing pops, that whole sector can become hot. And you might miss the initial one that causes the pop, but that doesn't mean that there's others that you shouldn't try and focus on, because if you catch any of those, it could be the same difference. You know, it doesn't really matter which one, if you get in on something like that. Right. I just want to start looking at some of these charts. I mean, MAXN here too. I mean, now we're down at bottoms. I mean, this one's almost kind of interesting down here, but this is really, I mean, it's bouncing all over. I'll give you that. I mean, fundamentals are shit, and it's a really small market cap. So for me, it makes it a little tough. I still have a hard time trading things that like don't fit my value. just because, you know, there's the chance you get a good signal somewhere around here, and if it doesn't work out, you know, you take, you know, a huge loss. So, you know, these ones where I can see some of these, you know, nosedives, it does make me hesitate on some of these. I will say, though, that's pretty crazy volume. How many outstanding shares they have? Only 55 million. Short percent of float is 65%. Is anyone talking about this? Like, I feel like this is interesting, just on that alone. Hey, Value. How you doing, man? Is that Hawaiian Electric? I'll have to check on those because Hawaiian I've been in and out of, and it just hasn't seemed to work out. NASCAR and I were just looking into MAXN just because it has a really high short interest right now, and I would argue this is starting to look interesting. I'll look at something. So what is held by institutions is 66%, held by insiders 38. The float is technically 33 million, and there's 20 million of those shares are short right now, according on June 14th. So this is, I mean, this is a little outdated, but what was that? Johnny showed me this site. I mean, there's a lot of volume going on here, too. Markets closed with almost the exact same amount of... I mean, basically everything it lost gained back already in after hours. FFIE. Well, FFIE, though, I feel like there's a lot less to go on with FFIE. I mean, similar. It got down to 22%. And this is on June 14th, but this was after that massive jump, right? Here, you know what? You know, there was definitely a pop in volume NASCAR in terms of down here in the bottom of May. And RSI was negative, and it did start to flip from oversold, which we're still in pretty heavy oversold territory, actually. I mean, I definitely think it looks interesting right here on the technical side, but what it does, I don't know. It's tough to say. Could it go that parabolic? I mean, these guys are all... The thing I'm interested in is... there's a lot of institutional buys here these guys are pointing out. On 7-9... 24 million shares. Is that right? I just want to look at what FIE is. That still? Current share short is 27. I don't know how often this is updated from today. It says 20 minutes delayed, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, value. That's why we, you know, I normally, maybe me and NASCAR finally have one that we're both interested in, because MAXN's short interest is just insane right now, as part of the float. So what was the actual I mean, volume's 225 million. There's not that many shares. Like, I actually am surprised that the share price is where it's at. How does it trade that many shares and not seem to go parabolic? Like, doesn't seem wild. I mean, now that we're down at these low levels, because this is where the reason I'm thinking this too, and this is you saw with FFIE. You want to talk about something that they have in common, you know. And don't get me wrong, it could go down more. I mean, look at. I mean, this got down to 3 cents, so it can get a lot uglier. So, you know, anybody watching this, or whether you're in here now or in hindsight, don't think this is a buy and buy. I'm just saying it's interesting, but. You know, this got down to 3 cents. So don't think that this can't get down to 3 cents. FFIE, how many? Its market cap still 172 million, so it's still a lot higher. And how many shares outstanding does FFIE have? So they have 441, and then MAXN had what? So they have about 1/10 of the amount of shares. The short interest is higher. Are these guys trading options? I mean, you imagine if they said like a dollar. You could buy some short-term options on this. I don't know how much these cost. Look at the open interest, 51,000. That's a lot of interest. And the puts are setting, like, the puts are more confident up to 250. So the puts know there's a chance it could spike, because people are selling these out here at 250. So they're like, the average person who's bearish on this, if they're selling puts, they're doing it, but they're saying like they don't think it would go above 250. They feel comfortable selling them then. Yeah, and FFIE could have benefited also from the meme trade that GameStop had. That's why I'm saying it's so hard to tell. It's nothing is going to necessarily say this is going to bounce. And according to what I'm looking at, it's not quite in like a buy territory. It could get there by tomorrow. So I'll probably keep an eye on MAXN and see what it does tomorrow. And who knows? Maybe we could get something to happen. It's interesting though. Yeah, what's going on with cost right now? I haven't looked at cost in a second. I know it's way up, but wow, this is another one. I mean, this is crazy though. I mean, cost is late to get in now. Well, when you say theory, NASCAR, saying it should have moved around July 3rd, what makes you say that? Because I mean, you got to think this isn't, it's not the same thing. I mean, you can just tell even on the RSI and the volume here, this is still super bearish during those days. I mean, there's nothing here. Yeah, now you're getting a little spike back. And don't get me wrong. I mean, hell, this is already almost a double here for anybody who bought way down here at like 17 cents. They did get up. It literally could have. You basically could have got a double there. But you know, I'm not trying to time bottoms and tops. I'm just trying to catch some of the move, essentially, is more my goal here. Yeah, no, trust me, I've been on Wall Street Bets and everything. I'm well aware of how the meme trades work. And then, let's see. Just pulling up Hawaiian Electric value to see. I will say I'm kind of surprised it's gotten down this low, because they have like a and value. Have they talked at all about has anything come to fruition in terms of the litigation against them? Because the last I had read, that they basically were saying that they don't think that they could blame HE for it. So, because I've purchased this a few times and I've never played it well. It's always just kind of, you know, been like a wash essentially for me anytime I've gotten in on this one. $10% in Tuesday's trading following reports that thousands of people affected by the deadly Maui wildfires last August could soon be offered a settlement from Maui County. Reports the Maui County Council is set to take up a resolution introduced at the mayor's request for a global settlement of all wildlife litigation against the county. The resolution reportedly does not provide a dollar figure, but lists a total of 449 wildfire lawsuits filed by 2,000 affected parties. The settlement move comes as the first hundreds of lawsuits in which the county is a defendant moves closer to trial. I mean, looks like the county, they're going in to try and seek damages litigation. Whether successful, not sure. Right. So that's obviously the risk here. But I will say this is the first, like, obviously this is bullish news. Everyone took this as bullish news. What's it doing in after hours? Did it continue to go up? Not heating oil, Jesus. Speaking of, they actually have a decent short interest as well. 23% for Hawaiian. It's a utility. Yeah, no, NASCAR, I get what you're saying. That's why, you know, I'm telling you, you know, just from my perspective, how I'm looking at things. But this is why I say, you know, whether it's trading or whether you're investing or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter. There's things where sometimes it looks like everything lines up and it just doesn't work out. But I will say, I have a hard time thinking MAXN can keep the short interest that high. I mean, where's high short interest here? Come on. What is this thing doing? Oh, I don't know. It's not working, but I just like that one because it gave me a good list of companies with decent short interest, but yeah, maybe they're wait. It's probably because so many people are watching the stream right now that they're all trying to go to that website. That's got to be what it is. So we probably just killed it. You know, sometimes you just cripple it. It's the laughing stocks effect. You know, the thing that kills me about some of these things too is like, you watch like Zap on here, and every day, just day after day, it's like the top stock that's moving. It's like, man, sometimes it's just, maybe it's just worth it. But like, this is, I mean, maybe that's to your point, NASCAR. Just throw 1% in that thing. Riley's another short interest, price of 16 toe. I'm not sure that it would get targeted. The only thing, I know Riley's a straight fraud. I don't know if you follow Mark on X, but he is heavily shorted on that. And there's like 3 or 4 guys that I really respect, and they've proven that Riley is just a straight fraud. So I personally won't touch Riley. That one's not for me. Because you know, if I'm going to fight short interest, it's on the fact that I think that you're overly shorting it. Don't get me wrong. Maybe Riley at the bottom, it's not that bad, you know. And honestly, a lot of their complaints are based on management. So if the management got removed, then I could see the stock turning around essentially. But so right now, I'm not touching Riley. That's outside of my. Man, there's quite a bit of stuff that's up, though. I'm just trying to find... everything we're talking about here. Not just because I'm curious. I just want to see Riley's chart because I haven't looked in a while. Definitely find support down at this level. It's around like 15 bucks. Guess you could even argue around 16-ish. I just want to look at a longer chart. Sorry about all the lines. I mean, this actually looks kind of interesting on the chart. I'll give you that, NASCAR. Like, this is a pretty strong breakout right there. What's it doing? Did it do anything in after hours? No, not really. All right. Well, thank you guys for putting out some things, because this is stuff that I probably wouldn't have even looked at, and it's all interesting. What's my analyst talking about? Anybody talking about anything here? See if they're talking about any of the stuff that we're talking about. What's Place doing right now? Yeah, I've looked at LGVN a little bit in the past, but not too much. I wonder if Place right here is due for another bounce up. LGVN. Hang on, I just want this to pop in. There it goes. I'm just looking at LGVN. I will say the chart looks interesting. The only thing is, I feel like this is it looks good, but I feel like it's I feel like it might lose steam here. I don't know. I mean, it could. It's saying technically it's breaking out on like everything. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. No, I see what you're saying on LGVN. Just because I'm trying to do a million things here. Did Place turn anything around? What was their last earnings report? Was it still shit? Oh my gosh, come on. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't come over. There we go. Place is another one. PLC. All right, NASCAR's throwing out predictions. Sub 2 million share stock is going to drop a PR pre-market, and over the course of 2 hours, run 5%. I may do that without even a PR drop. There's about 40 to 50 tickers on the watch list that have under 2 million shares. I'm watching closely pre-market tomorrow. All right, I'll have to check with you next time and see how you did. No, I'll give you. It's interesting. I mean, honestly, yeah, every name that we've talked about here, I could see. I could see Hawaiian going up tomorrow. All these ones that are short, especially these ones more at the bottom, they're all interesting. I mean, where will it go? It's hard to say. I don't know. All right, and then all right, I just want to pull in some of these. Let me just disable this so it doesn't end up trying to load everything here. I don't think there's enough there. It's rare that I find financials that are that interesting anyways, but let's place again. I'm gonna pull in Hawaiian just because I just want to look at it again. I know it's a utility, but I do think you got a great point that could see a strong run here. This is one. Like, how is it this bit foo-foo? How is this thing even alive? It's all over the place. Well, I need a shorter chart here. I gotta make that to turn into the 1 year daily. Seems crazy to me. This whole run-up seems crazy to me. At least, like, the chart looks good. I guess that's what I'm starting to appreciate, is that some people just don't give a shit. I'm not seeing much on the fundamental side of things today. Maybe that's why we're talking all charts, because honestly, I don't see much that's really catching my eye here. Usually I can find, I don't know, 5 or 10. Like the ones that are cheap look like shit. Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with you on NASCAR. The sometimes a certain press release is just like, I don't know. I guess people are just looking for news, and then you get enough people who just hop in before they really even digest what the news means, and it's really all it takes. What is AREC? I don't think I know this one. American Resources Corp. Have I looked at them before? The name just doesn't sound familiar. No. Is this all just in one move? Pretty much. Although it's not the first time they've done this, although that was after a huge drop. Yeah, I don't think there's much there. And then, was there any insiders I was interested in? I've clicked on so many links today. Why is this one need verification? I will say, there is a lot of news NASCAR around MAXN. I'll give you that. Nah. Doug. What's Dave and Buster's doing right now? I'm gonna pull play in. Oh, this was the other one I wanted to look at. that on PA ever hold up? And yeah, did high interest ever come up? No. So I need to zoom in on this before I start updating all this stuff. Whew. Is it hot where you guys live? I don't know what is going on here, but I'm in New York and it is like stupidly hot. It's just nonstop. Kept saying I wanted to move down south, but now it's like I don't even have to move down south. It gets so hot up here. Because this is the thing with Hawaiian Electric. If nothing really changes materially about this company and these lawsuits don't directly affect them, how do you argue that it's not worth $30-some? And like when I look here, I get 39 on the high side, but I mean, this could be a huge return. That's partly why I've got into it a few times, because I don't know, it just seems like it could break back out. What did the chart look like again? Sorry, just taking some notes here. Stuff to keep an eye on tomorrow. See anyone's talking about any of this stuff. So we're talking shit about it. Yeah, Con. That's another one nowadays. Con's been in rough shape here. What were some of the other names that we were talking about? So I'm scrolling through the chat here. Ion M. That was the other one that you were talking about. I will say that MAXN definitely interests me the most, I think, of the ones that you've thrown our way, NASCAR. But I'm definitely adding MAXN HE to my list of stuff to just kind of keep an eye on. Also, I like MPAA right now, motor parts. They look like they're kind of pulling back up, so I'll keep an eye on and see if anything changes there, because they had this massive run up here. And it kind of looks like it's going to break out right here, so just interesting. I mean, they have increased their debt, so I think they're just probably keeping cash on hand just in case. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can even see that. Sorry, I should adjust the screen sometimes so my big head's not taking up so much damn space. And I mean, CapEx will probably, you know, hover and bounce around because they're probably gonna have to be doing repairs and stuff like that after everything. But if I don't even care, even with a 70 cents dividend. I mean, that's almost a 10% dividend yield on a utility that's got a moat because it's on an island. Yeah, the ones I was talking about that I think were Chinese, was it NISN? NISU or something like that? Oh, Nissan, that's what it is. This one, I would say this is kind of squeezing. I mean, it's not your 500% in a day that you're looking for in NASCAR, but this is a nice looking uptrend. And was NNAS, was that are they Chinese? What do they do? Yeah, NAS NASCAR. That's our other one. I mean, look, this is 68 and it's in 55% after hours right now. So, those might be ones that could continue to run. I don't know. I mean, an after hours up 55%. Does it stay doing that? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be back up to this level, and that's just at the end of the night. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, those are there is some Chinese one. I mean, I feel like there's always Chinese stocks that'll pop. Like I said, my problem though is I don't have any conviction on some of these plays. So it's only so much I can put into it. Like, does anyone say anything about this, or is this just kind of like a? Said this in April. Yikes. It is strange for it to drop that much, though. I mean, this is just from April, and it's down 85% from April, and then Now we're getting a huge bounce. I mean, in the grand scheme, going from $5 is, or up to $5 is nothing when it was just at 20 some dollars. But it was down to $1. So anybody who was able to have the balls to get in here. Interesting. All right, and then is anything going on with Dave & Buster's here that I need to be aware of? I just gotta update this real quick. Then I got a text or a chat message when I was on Reddit. Someone was asking, like, you know, how they could stay in touch. And, you know, I just said either on the stream or you guys can hit me up on X, whatever. You know, I have my phone on me all the time, basically. So, you know, we'll see if, you know, like I'll answer you on there. I mean, you know, if you want to have more of like a direct conversation with me, you know, like, you know, I'd be willing to do like a live chat with you at some point or something, you know, just for whatever. So if you guys ever want to just have like more of like a one-on-one at some point, you know, I can try and find time to do something like that too, if like you got questions or whatnot. But otherwise, yeah, just, you know, tune into the stream or, you know, ask questions on X, any of those things. Like, I'm happy to tell you what I'm thinking. You know, obviously it's a work in progress, but obviously I enjoy it, so it's not a big deal to me, as long as it loads. Come on. I don't understand why sometimes it takes so long and other times it's like it takes 5 seconds here. All right, here. Why are they spending so much in CapEx? Are they building stores? They bought shares back, so that's going to throw these numbers off a little bit. Definitely has some possible room to move up. A lot of debt. And they don't carry a lot of cash, which I don't like. Oh, look at that. Courage and conviction. Wait, so what is this at right now? 37, and he posted this when? Oh, is it just because of the pullback? So it's had a huge pullback, is what he's saying. So when are these articles from that he's pointing out here? Oh, 2020. Oh, 2020. Okay. All right, that makes more sense because I was confused on Didn't I just have this chart up? Oh, but is he talking during COVID? Like, I don't really care about COVID. I mean, obviously everything dropped during COVID. Okay, whatever. Oh, he's just saying he was covering it during that. Okay, that makes more sense. $2.80 a share. I mean, that's still relatively in realm of. So he's saying it could still double the entire size of the business. Months. Interest and debt refinancing will cost them 146 million. Taxes another 28 million. Just under 1.3 billion debt. Seemingly no interest by the management to pay down that debt. The interest is going to be there for a long time. It's a share buybacks, which to me is a red flag. In the last fiscal year, Play bought back 300 million of stock, and buybacks have continued in this fiscal year. You could view that as very bullish by management, and management is not shy on conference calls about talking about how undervalued their stock is. Blah blah blah. Playing too fast and loose. Since the debt is not getting paid down, that 30 million a year is now every year for a foreseeable future. So in essence, over the next 10 years, Play will have paid 600 million for those shares. Doesn't make financial sense. Ton of franchise models here in the USA. They've gotten by for 15 years on free money. These cows are coming home. The next 1 to 2 years will be a bloodbath for the franchise models that are not truly sound. Yeah, he's just saying that, typically in this retail space, they've been able to get away with, the low interest rates. So taking on that debt and not paying that down and focusing on something like share buybacks when the stock price gets cheap. That makes sense, probably to what management's used to. But going forward into the future could possibly be an issue. I will say, the CFO buying here is somewhat bullish. That's a 61% increase in their position size. That's a big increase for one person. Still generating good earnings. The free cash flow is negative right now, but I'm assuming that has to do with buybacks and whatnot. probably them, you know, expanding the stores. I don't know how much the stores cost. I mean, is that really how much it, you know, what is it? It's bounced around, but this is a stupidly high year for some reason. I guess the cash doesn't necessarily matter, but they are riding with this heavy debt load right now, which is kind of a waste of money. And that debt amount just keeps kind of ballooning up. When is that? I'm assuming it's not due anytime soon, which is why it's not really a concern. I doubt anyone's even worried about that, but. So they got a credit facility, a term loan, and senior secured notes. Those are the two main ones. November 1st, 2025, they have $550 million that's due. How much is credit facilities for? Well, they're going to have to work on that. When does this term loan do? I guess it just doesn't say. I hate. Oh, 2029. Okay, it says up at the very top. Sorry, I skipped over it. Yeah, so it's a huge runner. Okay, IVP. Do you think a 350 break could see a squeeze? 3 IVP. I mean, it could. I'd like to see more of a breakout. Either that or I'd be interested if it had a big pullback. Yeah, I think, what can I, is it a colon? No, underscore. There's something I can type in here that's supposed to adjust it for the split, but I can't remember what it is. There's like shortcut commands you can do on stock charts. By the way, I love that website. Stock charts is great. It's so nice, like how they let you set everything up and play around with things. I've like learned so much just by messing around on this website. Yeah, what is AVGO doing right now? I just saw Nancy Pelosi bought AVGO, so it makes me interested. because that lady seems to know a lot about everything. Ooh, IVP only has a market cap of 3 million. Yikes. I don't know, NASCAR. I think that rules it out for me. It's going to be, I mean, that's, without them raising capital here, it's going to be super hard for them to, even remain listed. I mean, you know, they just don't have any money. And I get it, they're trying to keep the stock price up, but I could also see that stock price keep kind of coming down. I don't know. This one's tough for me. You know, if anything, I think that these bullish runs here, it's impressive. But I think this could come back to earth. But it is interesting. But I do like Dave and Buster's. Keep an eye on it. I mean, we'll see what it can do. Just trying to keep a list of stuff to take interest in the morning. All right. I don't think there's any. I don't think I have too much else to look at. All right, we'll save it there. All right, I'm gonna take those off, and then what time is it? It's 9:10. I'll probably call it there tonight, guys. You know, I got some stuff to look at. Like I said, I'll follow through on some of the portfolio positions. Hopefully, I don't get murdered on DK and Array for that matter. Like I said, need to stop. I need to start setting my exits and stuff like that, because there's nothing worse than knowing that it could have been a gain, and now it's already a equivalent loss essentially for me. So just have to. I might have to just eat that one and just realize that it was a mistake that you're gonna make at the start here, because you weren't focused like you should have been. Can I click portfolio? So we'll work on that. We'll see what farm does. I think, was it farm that was up after ours? Yeah, farm was continuing to kind of move up, so we'll see. Thanks again, Johnny, for throwing that ticker my way. I didn't really delve into farm, Johnny, so if you want to, you can do that one, because I don't want to steal your tickers on you either if something's been interesting you. And then Alto, I mean, Alto's just been kind of hanging here. Oh, I did want to bring up, because Johnny had brought this up, and you know, you can Yeah, I thought it was a good point, you know, and it's not just us that have said this, but he said Justin put this out there about ALTO because we were talking about it, and he said the CEO of GPRE, Todd Becker, said for their 2024 Q1 earnings call past May, by the way, we're just checking, but to build a new ethanol plant in the United States, in our view, could be as high as $2.50 a gallon because we have priced them to see the econs related to when alcohol to jet becomes a reality, and that's a minimum price at this point. ALTO production capacity for their plants, peaking combined, is 250 million gallons. Magic Valley 60, Columbia 40, which totals 350 million gallons. Even at a discounted rate of, let's say, $1.75 a gallon, that leads to a valuation of 612 million. Market cap today is 111 million. So, like I said, not necessarily new news, but you know, it just puts into perspective that, you know, this could easily be worth like $5. You know, I look at a little bit longer of a term chart here. Like if we look at like the 5-year weekly chart, you know, you're seeing like support, or really, I mean, I guess if what we're going to focus on would be resistance. So if we could break through like 350, and then even on a longer chart, yeah, I mean, I could see anywhere from $4 to, depending on how everything plays out, you know, maybe a little higher, but as of now, just holding, just keeping an eye on it, and then just deciding too, you know, how much I want to add to ALTO, just being a 12% position right now. Like I said, DK, I do not want it to take a position, but it is what it is at this point. I'll just take that one, and we'll see. Maybe it'll work out. Who knows? Probably not, but we can wish, right? I can't believe I didn't get out. Because what was it? Somewhere. Honestly, I can't even remember what it was. Yeah, I don't even remember. I'd have to pull up the portfolio to really remember exactly where I got in, and what one of these peaks is basically what, like, was just above what my sell target was too. So whatever, it is what it is. But so, you know, like I said, the past few weeks, even though I had some decent returns, some of these stocks have been pulling it back, which is, like I said, part of my learning experience. So I'm not going to kill myself just because you know, I had a few mistakes. It's learning in the future that, like, you know, those mistakes are going to come, and, you know, not to chase them for too long, which is obvious. It's not a big deal. But it's more me playing around and seeing, well, can you chase them? Can you get out of some of these without taking such a loss, or is it not worth it in the long run to play it that way? Which there's a legitimate chance that's what it is. But either way, just wanted to kind of play around with it. So Johnny will be on Thursday. Trying to think what else. Johnny's going to be on Thursday. This weekend, I'll be my normal time. We'll be on Saturday. I'm going on vacation for the following week. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do my stream next week. We'll post it on X if I'm going to do my part. Johnny will probably still do his. In the following weekend, I'll be back for Sunday, Johnny. So if you're watching this, if you want to do, not this weekend coming up, this weekend I'll do Saturday, but the following one, if you want to do a Sunday stream, I'll be able to do that. And then the next week, I could do like whatever. Besides the following Saturday, I'll go with everything. I'm not going to confuse you and tell you, you know, months out of time. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I have too much else to add. Like I said, on the Daily Mover, some commodities are moving. You know, I know we looked at this real quick at the start. I still need to fix this stupid space thing. I don't even care at this point. It's just not updating for some dumb reason. But yeah, everything else is just kind of bouncing around. I haven't. What's Bitcoin doing these days? I feel like I haven't heard anything. Just still at 57, huh? Oh, now it's popping up over here. Just seems like some of the steam might have burned out of this. We've topped out quite a few times. So. All right, either way. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, NASCAR and Value. Always appreciate the input and throwing tickers and stuff my way. It always helps me to find things. And I have taken positions off what you guys have said. So, like I said, I do appreciate throwing it. As always, it's not investing advice. Do your own due diligence. Don't buy things because I say that I'm buying them or that I own them because I'm an idiot, and I'll probably lead you down a terrible dark path. So, do your own work. But other than that, everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Like I said, John will be on Thursday, so he will see you guys then, and we will both see you on Saturday. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. I'm out of beer, too. Kind of kills the stream once I'm out of beer.